In the bustling heart of downtown Manhattan, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like ambitious dreams, Alexander Grant stepped into his favorite coffee haven, a quaint spot called Brew Haven tucked away from the corporate frenzy. As the CEO of Grant Innovations, a tech empire revolutionizing AI for everyday life, Alex was used to the rush, board meetings that blurred into late-night coding sessions, deals that could make or break fortunes. But this morning, after a grueling negotiation with investors, he craved simplicity, a black coffee, strong enough to jolt his neurons into action. The line was short, the aroma of freshly ground beans a comforting ritual. Behind the counter, Elena Vasquez moved with the grace of someone who had danced through life's chaos, her ponytail swinging like a metronome to the rhythm of espresso machines. She was 28, a single mom juggling barista shifts with online classes in graphic design, her smile a shield against the world's indifference. As Alex approached, rattling off his order with the efficiency of a man who valued time above all, Elena's eyes lingered a fraction longer than usual. She nodded, her fingers flying over the register, but in that moment, something sparked, an inexplicable pull, like static electricity before a storm. Little did Alex know, this ordinary transaction was about to rewrite his meticulously planned existence. Elena poured the coffee with practiced precision, the steam rising like whispers of possibility. She had seen Alex before, always in tailored suits that screamed power, yet his eyes held a quiet vulnerability, a hint of the boy who once dreamed big before the weight of expectation crushed whimsy. Today, feeling bold after a rare night off where her daughter Sophia had giggled through bedtime stories, Elena decided to flirt with fate. On the foam of his latte, he'd ordered black, but she switched it seamlessly, knowing he'd appreciate the twist. She etched with a steady hand, "Room 69, 8 p.m. tonight." It was impulsive, reckless even, inspired by a rom-com she'd watched the night before, but Elena trusted her gut. Room 69 was no random number, it was the suite at the boutique hotel across the street, a place she'd passed 1,000 times, imagining lives more glamorous than her own. She slid the cup across the counter, her heart pounding beneath her apron, and when Alex glanced down, his eyebrows arched in surprise. He looked up, meeting her gaze, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to just them, the hum of the shop fading into white noise. "Is this an invitation?" he asked, his voice a mix of amusement and intrigue. Elena shrugged, feigning nonchalance. "Only if you're brave enough to show up." As he walked away, cup in hand, Alex felt a grin tug at his lips, the first genuine one in weeks. What harm could one evening do? The rest of Alex's day dissolved into a haze of emails and strategy sessions, but that foam message lingered like a post-it note on his soul. By 7 p.m., as the sun dipped below the skyline painting the city in hues of amber and indigo, he found himself pacing his corner office, second-guessing. CEOs didn't chase cryptic notes from baristas, they orchestrated multi-million-dollar mergers. Yet, the monotony of his life, endless galas with air-kissed socialites, contracts that felt like shackles, had left him hollow. Elena's boldness was a siren call to the adventurer he'd buried under boardroom armor. He texted his assistant a vague, personal matter, excuse for the evening, then hailed a cab to the hotel, his pulse quickening with each block. The lobby of the Velvet Orchid was all velvet ropes and crystal chandeliers, a world away from Brewhaven's cozy chaos. At the front desk, the clerk raised an eyebrow at his room request. 69. Quite the choice, sir. Alex chuckled, playing it cool, though inside, nerves danced like caffeinated electrons. The elevator ride was eternal, mirrors reflecting a man on the cusp of unraveling. When the doors opened to the suite, it was dimly lit, jazz crooning from hidden speakers, a bottle of Merlot breathing on the side table. And there she was, Elena, out of her uniform, in a sleek black dress that hugged her curves like a secret. "You came," she said, her voice a velvet purr. "I did," he replied, stepping in, the door clicking shut like the start of a plot twist. They clinked glasses, the wine warming paths down their throats as conversation flowed easier than Alex could have anticipated. Elena shared stories of Sophia's latest crayon masterpiece, a lopsided unicorn that symbolized her daughter's boundless imagination, while Alex confessed his early days in a garage, coding apps on a borrowed laptop, dreaming of changing the world one algorithm at a time. Laughter bubbled up, genuine and unforced, dissolving the barriers of their disparate worlds. As the night deepened, they moved to the balcony, the city lights twinkling like conspirators below. Elena leaned against the railing, her hair catching the breeze. "Why the note?" Alex asked, tracing the rim of his glass. She turned, eyes sparkling with mischief. "Because life's too short for what ifs. And you looked like you needed a plot twist." Their hands brushed, sending sparks, and before long, lips met in a kiss that tasted of coffee and courage. The suite became their sanctuary, sheets tangling in a symphony of rediscovered passion. Hours blurred into a haze of whispers and touches, Alex marveling at how Elena's confidence unraveled his defenses. For the first time in years, he wasn't the CEO, he was just Alex, alive in the moment. Dawn crept in too soon, painting the room in soft pinks, and as they lay entwined, Elena traced patterns on his chest. "This doesn't have to end here," she murmured. But Alex's mind raced ahead, to realities, responsibilities, the empire waiting. Yet, in that fragile interlude, he dared to believe it could be more. Morning light filtered through the curtains, coaxing them from slumber with gentle insistence. Elena slipped into the bathroom first, emerging with tousled hair and a secretive smile, while Alex ordered room service, pancakes stacked high, fruit platters bursting with color. Over breakfast, the afterglow mingled with practicalities. "What now?" Elena asked, popping a strawberry into her mouth. Alex paused, fork midway. He wanted to say everything, dates, dreams, a future, but the weight of his world pressed in. "Let's keep it light," he suggested, hating the caution in his tone. She nodded, but her eyes held a flicker of disappointment. They parted with a lingering kiss at the lobby, promises of texts exchanged like fragile currency. Back at the office, Alex dove into work with renewed vigor, the memory of her fueling late-night breakthroughs. Elena, meanwhile, returned to Brewhaven, the steam of the espresso machine a reminder of the night that had steamed up her own life. Days turned to weeks, stolen moments in coffee runs evolving into midnight rendezvous. Sophia even met Alex once, during a park picnic Elena orchestrated, the little girl's laughter bridging gaps Elena hadn't known existed. But cracks began to show. Alex's ex, a high society lawyer named Victoria, caught wind of the affair through a tabloid whisper, her jealousy a venomous spark. Late one evening, as Alex and Elena tangled in his penthouse, his phone buzzed incessantly. Ignoring it, he pulled her closer, but the interruptions foreshadowed the storm brewing beyond their bubble. Victoria's confrontation came like a thunderclap during a charity gala Alex couldn't skip. She cornered him in a marble hallway, her gown a cascade of silk, voice laced with ice. "A barista? Really, Alex? After everything?" He defended Elena fiercely, her spirit a counterpoint to Victoria's calculated charm, but the encounter left bruises, doubts about blending worlds, fears of public scrutiny. Elena sensed the shift during their next coffee date. Alex's smiles were shorter, his glances darting. "Talk to me," she urged, her hand over his on the cafe table. He spilled it all, the ex's barbs, the board's whispers about his distraction. Elena listened, then squeezed his fingers. "I'm not a distraction, I'm your wake-up call. But if this scares you, walk away now." He didn't, but the tension lingered, a shadow over their passion. Meanwhile, at Brewhaven, Elena's boss noticed her glow, teasing her about the mystery man, unaware of the stakes. Sophia started asking questions, drawing pictures of a prince with a watch like Daddy's, piecing together fragments of Elena's joy. One night, after a particularly grueling board meeting where Alex defended an AI ethics overhaul inspired by Elena's tales of real-world struggles, he arrived at her tiny apartment unannounced, rain-soaked and resolute. "I choose us," he declared, pulling her into an embrace that washed away the doubts. In that cramped kitchen, over instant noodles, they plotted a future, her design dreams funded by his resources, a family woven from unexpected threads. As autumn leaves carpeted the streets in fiery reds and golds, their relationship deepened roots. Alex introduced Elena to his inner circle, not as the barista, but as his partner, her quick-wit disarming skeptics at dinner parties. She enrolled in full-time classes, her portfolio blooming under mentorships Alex quietly arranged. Sophia adored him, nicknaming him Code King, after he taught her simple programming games on his tablet. But paradise had its serpents. A rival CEO, sensing vulnerability, leaked stories to the press, sensational headlines screaming, tech titan's steamy secret, from boardroom to bedroom with barista babe. The media frenzy was merciless, paparazzi swarming Brewhaven, forcing Elena to quit amid the chaos. Heartbroken, she confronted Alex in his office, tears streaking her makeup. "This is your world destroying mine." He vowed to fix it, hiring PR wizards to spin the narrative into a modern fairy tale, but the damage festered. Sleepless nights followed, arguments flaring over privacy versus passion. One evening, during a heated exchange in the suite where it all began, room 69 now a symbol of both ecstasy and exile, Elena packed a bag. "I need space to breathe." Alex watched her go, the doors echo a hollow gong. Alone, he scrolled through photos, her laugh in Central Park, Sophia's crayon art framed on his desk. Desperation birthed clarity, he couldn't lose her. The next day, he stepped down from a major deal, prioritizing a press conference where he declared, unscripted, "Love isn't a scandal, it's the code that makes us human." The confession went viral, shares skyrocketing as public sentiment swung from scandal to swoon-worthy romance. Elena, holed up at her sister's, watched teary-eyed as Alex bared his soul on live TV, crediting her for reigniting his purpose. She returned that night, the reconciliation a torrent of apologies and affirmations, their lovemaking a reaffirmation of unbreakable bonds. With the storm past, they rebuilt stronger, Elena launching her design firm with Alex's backing, but on her terms, no strings attached. Sophia's world expanded, private school adventures blending with coding camps Alex sponsored for underprivileged kids, a nod to Elena's roots. Holidays brought magic. Thanksgiving at the penthouse, where Elena's family met Alex's eclectic crew, laughter echoing over turkey and tamales. Christmas in the mountains, snowflakes dancing as they skied, Sophia's first hot cocoa mustache a snapshot of joy. But beneath the bliss, Elena harbored a secret, one that would upend their idol. Morning sickness hit like clockwork, confirmed by a drugstore test clutched in trembling hands. Pregnant. At 29, with a career blooming and a daughter already, it was a curveball. She told Alex over a quiet dinner, the Room 69 callback now laced with new meaning. His shock melted into awe, eyes misting as he knelt, kissing her belly. Our little plot twist. Yet, whispers of doubt crept in, could they parent amid empires and spotlights? Elena pushed them aside, focusing on ultrasounds and nursery dreams, but fate had one more surprise scripted. The pregnancy progressed in a whirlwind of doctor's visits and design deadlines, Elena's belly rounding out like a promise kept. Alex transformed, the iron-fisted CEO softening into a doting partner, attending every appointment, his hand a steady anchor during scans revealing tiny kicks. Sophia, thrilled at becoming a big sister, practiced lullabies, her innocence a balm. But complications arose in the third trimester, high blood pressure sending Elena to bed rest, the hotel suite retrofitted into a serene haven with medical monitors humming softly. Alex juggled empires from a laptop bedside, delegating with uncharacteristic grace. One stormy night, contractions hit early, lightning cracking as they raced to the hospital. Hours of labor blurred into exhaustion, Elena's cries echoing Alex's helpless prayers. At 2:17 a.m., under fluorescent lights, their son arrived, Luca Grant Vasquez, 7 pounds of wrinkled perfection, his wail a victory cry. Elena held him first, tears mingling with sweat, while Alex cut the cord, his world forever expanded. Discharge brought them home to a nursery painted in starry blues, Sophia peeking over the crib with wide-eyed wonder. Fatherhood suited Alex, he traded some boardroom battles for bedtime stories, coding lullabies into apps that soothed Luca's fussier nights. Elena's firm thrived, her maternity line of ergonomic wear for working moms a hit, blending her passions seamlessly. Yet, as months unfolded, a darker shadow loomed. Victoria, embittered by loss, plotted revenge from the sidelines, her legal machinations a ticking bomb neither saw coming. Victoria's vendetta struck subtly at first, anonymous tips to regulators questioning grant innovations, AI ethics, dredging up old rivalries. Alex dismissed them as noise, focused on family, Luca's first smile, Elena's gallery opening where her designs illuminated walls like captured dreams. But escalation came swift, a lawsuit alleging intellectual theft, pinned on Elena's influence over confidential talks. The accusation was baseless, a smear to fracture their unity. Court dates loomed, stress etching lines on Alex's face, Elena shielding the kids with fierce resolve. "We're in this together," she reminded him during late-night strategy sessions, her hand on his knee. United, they fought, hiring top counsel, Alex testifying with raw honesty about how Alina's grounded perspective had fortified his company's moral compass. The trial became a spectacle, media flipping scripts once more, portraying them as underdogs against corporate malice. Witnesses, including Alina's boss from Brewhaven, vouched for her integrity, turning the tide. In a climactic verdict, Victoria's claims crumbled, her empire of envy exposed. As justice prevailed, Alex pulled Alina aside in the courthouse hallway, the echo of gavels fading. From a foam note to forever, you're my greatest innovation. They emerged hand in hand, kids in tow, the city their canvas. Years later, Room 69, a fond anecdote at anniversaries, their story inspired. A best-selling memoir. Brewed with boldness. In the end, what the CEO never imagined wasn't chaos, but a love that coded happiness into every line of their lives.